Mexican surrealist painter Frida Kahlo has been the subject of, or at least a character in, a whole lot of movies. And you know what? She's in a new one this week as well, with one major difference. This time, this movie is aimed squarely at the kids. Hey everybody, I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy, and today let's talk about Hola Frida.
Woo! Hola Frida! Have a good day! Oh, Mom, can I please have this notebook? I'll draw in it every day.
Hola Frida tells the story of Frida Kahlo, but in her early school days. So we watch as she's a young child who is stricken by polio, and it's her struggle to get better, to learn to walk again, and to deal with the kids that are making fun of her now because she has chicken legs. We also get a scene where La Muerte, or the Angel of Death, appears to her, and Frida has to explain that she's got a lot of living to do. Now, most of the movie does take place in her younger school days, but we do get a bit at the end where she's in college. We see her, for example, we see her seeing some of Diego Rivera's murals. That's not really a big part of this movie. Really, we just want to get to the big bus crash that almost killed her, so she has one more face-off against La Muerte. Now look, most grown-up audiences probably know the bare bones, at least, details about Frida Kahlo's life, but this movie isn't for you. This is for the kids. Moms and dads that are worried that, hey, my kid doesn't speak Spanish, well, this movie is 90%, 95% in English, and the Spanish phrases that do make it into this, they're basically one word. It's akin to something you might see in Dora the Explorer, where, you know, she has a race with this schoolmate, and after the race he says, "We can be friends now, right, amigos?" Things like that. I mean, seriously, the most complicated phrase in this movie is when the mother says, "Dios mío." It's really that simplistic. So the question becomes, okay, why do my kids need to see this movie? Well, the idea that you have a child stricken with a very difficult disease, one that left her almost to the point where she was never going to walk again, and we see her fighting to regain control of her life, fighting for what is hers, fighting to become the artist that she will eventually become. Those are great stories, great moral messages for children, and I can certainly understand why parents would want to show their children this story as an example of why you should never quit. Now, I will also note that Frida Kahlo is somewhat controversial at times, certainly in her time period, but none of that really is in this movie. I mean, she's going to go on to become an icon for LGBT rights, but that's mostly because here she is standing up for her own rights, even though she's very different from all the people around her. I mean, the most controversial part of this particular movie is that she's invited to the ball and she doesn't want to wear a dress. She likes wearing pants. And okay, I'm not sure that kids today will even recognize that as being controversial at all. Now, the other reason to show your kids this movie is because of the animation. It has lots of touches of Frida Kahlo's surrealistic style animation, her artwork kind of working itself into the frame, both in the character design, but especially some of the characters and some of the touches around the outer edges of the frame. It's a unique looking movie, and I'm really quite a fan of it. So the bottom line here is I think this is a movie that works well for the kids. This is not a movie for mom and dad. It's far too simplistic. Like I said, it kind of feels like Dora the Explorer at times. But for the little ones, great animation and a great message of a little girl who refuses to quit and just does what it takes to succeed in life. I think that's really quite sweet. So for the little kids, I'm going to give Hola Frida 3 stars out of 4. For mom and dad, not so much. And look, I will mention that La Muerte shows up here. That's the Angel of Death. And so that can be scary for young kids. But La Muerte in Mexican culture seems to be more of a maternal figure. She's there to take Frida and usher across the bridge of the flowers so that she can go to the underworld. She's there to protect her. So it's not a scary Angel of Death here. Mom and dads, I know that some people might be concerned about that. And so, look, I think this is a good film for the kids. But yeah, that's me. What do you think? Particularly if you're a mom or a dad, did you show it to your kids? Did they like it? Tell me what you think. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and like all of these things. Feel free to comment on my channel here below, any of my videos. And then, of course, subscribe to my podcast, Two Movie Guys. My friend Joe Fryer and I get into it every week. We talk about all of the week's big new movies. So that's Two Movie Guys, the number 2 Movie Guys, wherever you get your podcast. Okay, that was a little quick one, so that's the last one out from last week. This is in theaters. You may want to also keep an eye out for this because it's not playing very widely, so maybe look for it when it comes to home streaming. But coming up next week, we'll be back in the theaters, and the big one next week, I'm going to argue, is the new film, Nobody 2. Talk to you then. Bye.